Wahoo have just released two brand new products, the KICKR MOVE and the KICKR BIKE SHIFT. Each one designed to make indoor training more comfortable, more realistic and more fun. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what sets them apart from Wahoo's other indoor training products and tell you all the key features and details. Now let's start with the product which I am most excited about, the KICKR MOVE, which now has forwards, backwards, left and right movement built into it to increase the level of comfort and realism you have when you're riding it. Wahoo is saying it's the smart trainer with the most inbuilt movement available to it. Helping to create this movement is something called a gravity track, which allows for 20 centimeters or 8 inches worth of movement, 10 centimeters or 4 inches forwards, and the same going backwards. The gravity track down the center is what is separating the fixed and moving parts on the unit and is also contributing to the left and right movement that it has, alongside the Wahoo KICKR Axis feet. Now these are the same feet which were used on the previous generation KICKRs and have been used for a couple of years now. And Wahoo is saying from their research is once you get to the point of about 45 minutes of indoor riding, racing or training when most people will start to experience some discomfort. The gravity track has been designed in such a way that everyone should get the same level of movement regardless of rider weight. And if you perhaps decide that the movement fore and aft doesn't lend itself towards a certain workout or effort that you're trying to do, well, Wahoo have thought of that. They've made this super easy to access switch to lock out and limit that movement. For those of you who are already familiar with Wahoo's KICKR trainers, you have most of the same carryover features here, but the most obvious visual ones being the large folding legs and this big carry handle at the back. However, with this new unit weighing in at 29 kilograms, you're going to want to avoid moving it around too much. It also comes supplied with a Shimano 11-speed cassette on here. Now Wahoo are saying they've supplied it with this because around 65% of their customers are still using 11-speed setups. Although they anticipate come 2024, that's likely to change and they may well come supplied with a 12-speed cassette. In terms of tech specs, you've got all the same connectivity options as before. So that means you've got Wi-Fi, you've got Bluetooth, you've got ANT+, and you've got Direct Connect. The unit is also able to measure speed, distance, cadence, and of course power with an accuracy of plus or minus 1%. If indoor racing is your thing, well, you've got race mode, which changes the data transfer rate from once a second to 10 times per second for instant reaction times. The unit's also able to deliver up to 2,200 watts of resistance and simulate climbs of up to 20%. But what about if you use a KICKR Climber here, say? Well, Wahoo have thought of that, and they now sell a separate base which the KICKR Climb sits on and accounts for this additional movement. In terms of pricing, well, this is very much a premium product for those people taking indoor training and comfort pretty damn seriously. It's priced at £1,399 or $1,599 US. We'll put other currencies up on screen. Ka-ching! Yeah, I do all my sound effects. But at this price point, it firmly places this at the top end of Wahoo's indoor training product lineup. But don't forget, there are of course still other more budget-friendly options available, such as the KICKR Core or the KICKR Snap. Jumping on and riding the KICKR MOVE is super simple. Mount your bike using supplied adapters and set the height of the unit relative to your wheel size. And because of this special gravity track design, it keeps the height of the unit as low as possible and means there's no need for additional spacers underneath your front wheel. And then when it comes to getting on your bike, you don't feel like you're having to climb up and onto it, which is the feeling that you can have if you're using one of those movement plates which sits underneath your standard trainer, which in some cases can add up to 15 to 20 centimeters in height. Wahoo are keen to stress to me that when you are riding the KICKR MOVE, it's something that you should almost try to forget about, because otherwise you might find yourself putting in additional movements in order to try to get the unit to move. Whereas in reality, the idea behind it is that you should just ride in your normal manner and the KICKR MOVE is going to follow your natural movement path rather than feeling like the trainer is restricting you or holding you back. And when you are riding, you've got a near silent operation, and the calibration and firmware updates are done automatically to allow you to focus on your efforts. Which leads me nicely onto this, which is the KICKR Bike Shift, and it's a more budget-friendly version of the KICKR Bike V2, which launched last year. But how does this differ to the KICKR Bike V2? It's constructed from steel rather than aluminium. The way that it simulates gradients is more in line with that of a KICKR Smart Trainer because the bike is now in a fixed position. You also have a new enclosed flywheel and resistance unit along with a belt drive. We also have updates to the hardware that is used to adjust the trainer, as well as lots of other changes which I'll get to in a minute. However, even with its use of steel rather than aluminium for its main construction, the KICKR Bike Shift is actually lighter than the KICKR Bike V2. This is mostly down to not having the complex internals to move the physical angle that the bike sits at when you're doing climbing and descending simulation. Also helping to keep this weight down is the new fully enclosed flywheel system at the back. We've got a new flywheel, a new resistance control unit, and a new belt drive unit, which is different to the motor control unit which is used on the KICKR Bike V2. Not only is this a major change visually, it also changes what the bike feels like to ride. And although you'll be in a fixed position, it's still able to simulate climbs of up to 20%, descents of up to 15%, and can have a maximal resistance of 2,200 watts, just like the KICKR Bike V2, which is going to be more than adequate for 99% of people, unless you feel like you could be a last-minute addition to the Paris Olympics track sprint events next year. Wahoo are also saying that this enclosed flywheel unit in the back is helping to reduce the noise when you're riding indoors. And whilst I haven't put any specific figures on this, they say the new KICKR Bike Shift is near silent in its operation. More still to go on the physical hardware side of things because the levers and controls which are used to adjust the bike position and setup of the KICKR Bike Shift have now been upgraded to be more robust. Now this is going to be particularly useful if you plan on sharing the KICKR Bike Shift with somebody else and you need to regularly adjust the position. And then down here at the crank, well, we've got the same cranks as used on the KICKR Bike V2, which means you've got the options from 165mm to 175mm with 5 increments in between. Almost all of the main features and functions transfer over from the KICKR Bike V2. This includes the intelligent shifting features up front, and then at the back we have all the same connectivity options as well. So that means we've got Bluetooth, Ant+, Wi-Fi, and Direct Connect. Also has an auto calibrate feature and automatic firmware updates to make sure you keep everything running nice and smooth. Power is measured with an accuracy of plus or minus 1%, and the unit is also able to record speed, distance, and cadence. However, for those of you who are big into indoor racing, there's unfortunately no race mode here. However, unlike the KICKR Move, this bike uses a wide, stable platform to limit any movement and make sure you feel secure and solid when you're putting out maximal effort. Kind of like that. And with that, I've covered off all of the major updates. Now, the KICKR Bike Shift is priced at £2,699 or $2,999 US. Of course, put other currencies up on screen as well. So there you have it, 2 exciting new products from Wahoo to expand their indoor training range, which means if you're someone that's trying to take indoor training to the next level, well, you've got more options to choose from. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful and informative, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts on the subject. So let me know in the comments section down below whether you would choose an indoor training bike or an indoor trainer to put your bike on. And also, if you want to see more videos related to bike tech, well, subscribe to GCNTech. See you later.